Hello, you guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. Happy Friday the 13th. If you know me, you know that I am obsessed with all things horror film. I am obsessed with Friday the 13th. I'm obsessed with Halloween. I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan when it comes to the movies. Huge fan of Michael Myers. So in honor of it being Friday the 13th, I'm wearing one of my Michael Myers shirts. It's one that's like a little bit more chill. You don't see Michael's big freaking head on it because I do have one of those. But I was like, you know what? In honor of Friday the 13th, I am going to wear one of my Michael shirts. And with that being said, I'm going to be doing another MLM horror stories today. I'm going back to doing one a month. So one time during the month, normally on a Friday, I will do an MLM horror stories unless you would like me in 2023 to bring back doing these weekly. I did decide in the month of December to do them every single week for y'all, which was really fun. I loved doing that again because I used to, I think it was the year of 2020 or 2021, maybe both of those, where I was doing them every single Friday. And then in 2022, I decided to not and to switch it up. So yeah, I'm excited for the first MLM horror stories of 2023. With that being said, is it 12:30 at night? Yes, it is. It is actually 12:30 at night. I don't know if you guys could see that, but it's 12:30 at night on Friday the 13th. And I'm going to read y'all horror stories. I actually just got out of work at 11, got home around 11:40, chatted with the hubs for a little bit, and now here I am. So the first story is a Beachbody story. It is a extremely long one, so let's get into it. It says, "Hi Deanna, I hope you're doing great. I previously sent in a story that I have something else to share. This one is more embarrassing. Personally, as I was the one who got caught up in it. I live in a small town in northern Canada. There isn't much to do here apart from outdoor activities, and a lot of mothers get caught up in the MLM grind set. I'm a bodybuilder, started at 18, and am now in my 30s, and used to exercise as an outlet for anger issues and to manage my anxiety and depression, and it worked amazingly well, so I got really into it. And a few years ago, I was in a really bad place. My anxiety was overwhelming, and I had stopped working out for half of the year because of lack of motivation. But that just made everything worse. One day I got a message from, you guessed it, a Beachbody consultant. And at first, I thought she was a girl I knew from school because the conversation started so casually. She didn't do her pitch to me right away. She asked how I was, and we talked about depression and anxiety. And when I told her I hadn't worked out in a while, that's when she got me. Hook, line, and sinker. I was already really depressed, hating how I looked because I hadn't hit the gym in a while, and saw all the progress I had made just disappear. When she told me her coaching group helped her lose a ton of weight and get back into shape, and that I could work out at home, it seems like a golden opportunity for me. I actually found the chat. All the correspondence is in French, and it looks like she blocked me from Facebook now. But I'll send screenshots with translations. Hope it's not too long, and you could also use my name." So the screenshots are, like she said, in French, but she writes it out for us. So we're going to call the girl Becky. So Becky says, "Hi, how are you?" Stephanie goes, "I'm good. It's Friday. You?" Becky said, "Haha, yep, yes, I'm good, thanks. I just wanted to thank you for following me on my social media page." Stephanie goes, "No problem. I was a bodybuilder for a lot of years, so it's motivating to see people change their lifestyle and get excited about working out, especially during winter." Becky said, "OMG, you're impressive. Do you still work out?" Stephanie said, "No, I have pain everywhere because of heavy lifting. I still run and bike occasionally, but my knees have gotten really bad over the years." Becky said, "You're awesome. How long has it been since you've worked out?" So, like I said, Becky is the MLMer. Stephanie is the one that sent us the story. She goes, "Here's the second screenshot. After asking me a bunch of questions and love bombing me, she starts her pitch." Becky goes, "Did you ever compete?" Stephanie said, "No, never." Becky stated, "Did you ever try to work out at home like I do?" Stephanie said, "Yes, but I hardly ever have the motivation to keep it up." Becky goes, "I understand, but have you tried with a group of other girls with a coach? It changed everything for me." Stephanie said, "Maybe I should check it out." Becky goes, "Do you want me to explain how my group works?" You can see she hasn't explained what it is and that you have to pay to drink their nasty shakes that cost a fortune every month. At the time, I thought it was actually a fitness coach, so I bought into it. And to be frank, their workout videos are pretty good to get back into shape because it's a lot of cardio, but my issue came in with the shakes and everything around that. I had told her I didn't want any of it because I had my own, and having been a bodybuilder for more than 10 years, I had my preferred protein shakes already, and I knew which ones worked best for me. But she insisted on on this welcome package and that I could cancel right away and only pay for the workout videos. Seemed like a win-win to me. The subscription for Beachbody on-demand workouts was 119 Canadian dollars for the month. For the month, that's a lot. And for the shakes, it was 129 Canadian dollars. I could have gotten way better protein powders for half that price, but for some reason, I said yes anyways. When it came time to actually cancel this Shakeology subscription, it was so complicated for no reason. First, she told me she'd send me the info on how to do it. She had sent me the voice messages instead of writing it out, but after asking her twice, she hadn't told me how to actually cancel it after saying she would. So after a few days, I got annoyed of not getting a response and looked up how to do it myself. I got it done, but I just don't get how she couldn't have explained it to me. It would have taken a few minutes of her time, but now I get why. So for those of you guys who are new to my channel and just are watching here, I was actually in Beachbody for 2 years. There was a ton of times where people asked me that had signed up, like, how do I shut off like the subscription? And I always sent it straight to them. Instead of like sending them voice memos, I may have sent them some, but I normally would send a screenshot of literally how to go in and actually cancel it. Because what happens is when you sign up with Beachbody, it automatically signs you up for the Beachbody product on auto shipment. Because with Beachbody, you buy things in what's called challenge packs. So when you buy those packages, there is no way for the Beachbody rep to make it not on auto ship. Like Beachbody does it on purpose. My theory on that is most people forget to shut off auto ships. So they are hoping that people don't shut it off and keep buying the product, which is why they make everything on auto ship. If they didn't want to do that to people, they could easily just make it an option to put it on auto ship or to not put it on the auto ship, but they don't like to do that. And that is my theory as to why. If you have a different theory, let me know. But yeah, it was definitely an easy thing this person could have done. It takes 2 seconds to send a video or to have a pre-made video that you send to everybody. It seems as if this person, Becky, did not want to actually sit down and have her cancel it, or else she could have sent her a quick and simple DM on how to do so. So let's continue. It says, I think that's when I realized that it was sketchy, and I honestly feel like crap after spending all that money on those shakes that I knew I'd never drink. Even if it wasn't an exorbitant amount, I don't like wasting money on things I don't need. I mean, I feel like all people don't want to waste money on things they don't need. I then Googled Beachbody and saw so many stories of coaches and their horrible experiences with the companies. After that, I immediately canceled everything and never looked back. The representative that contacted me did her best and was never antagonistic towards me. She did send some good recipes in the group and posted a lot of motivational stuff. I can't say I'm mad at her for that part, but the fact that she didn't care to help me cancel the gross shakes and was evasive about Beachbody as a company and how it functioned really pissed me off, especially since I was, again, in a really bad place and a pretty vulnerable person at the time. But I learned that the best motivation can only come from yourself and not anyone else. So I guess this experience did teach me something valuable. I just wish this company wouldn't prey on people with low self-esteem and weight issues and body dysmorphia just to make a buck off of people, especially when they're pushing other people who might just have the same issues. It's so scummy. So I feel like I have a couple things to say. I think she's very right. I think that this company, and again, this is my opinion, this is her opinion, I do think that this company really preys on people who have low self-esteem. They prey on individuals who may struggle with body image issues. They really go after people with eating disorders or things like body dysmorphia. And a lot of their meal plans, in my opinion, only hinder those issues. They don't help them. So even when people join, they're going to find themselves in a constant cycle of trying to help themselves, but their programs are only going to hurt them when it comes to those meal plans. I also do think she made a really good point, because somewhere in this, she did say that she thought that this Beachbody rep was an actual coach. And that's what a lot of people think. If you do not know what Beachbody is, if you do not know what MLMs are, and someone on the internet was just randomly posting about being a fitness coach, because that's what Beachbody reps do. They are literally taught by the CEO, Carl Deichler himself. They should be out here talking about the fact that they are fitness coaches when they are not fitness coaches, but even their company calls them that. Like, I literally still have shirts and tank tops that they would send out to their reps that say coach on it, because they want you to think that you are a fitness coach, that you have the ability to tell people what to and what to not do with their bodies, when nobody who knows nothing about the body should be doing that. So I feel like it was interesting to see that she also said she thought this person was a real coach. And I think that that probably happens to a lot of people. They end up joining Beachbody thinking that that person is qualified and they have the certifications and qualifications to call themselves fitness coaches when they actually don't. And I think that's a big thing about Beachbody, that looking back on it, and looking at my time in it really annoys me about being in the MLM is the fact that they really put it into their MLM reps' brains that they like engrave it in their brains that you are a fitness coach when you are not. And I and nobody else has the right to tell people what to do with their bodies or to even give them advice on what to do with their bodies if you are not an actual personal trainer, dietitian, doctor. Those are the people who should be, telling people what to do with their bodies, not a random person on the internet that only needed their name and their social security number and to be 18 years or older to join the company. So now we have an I Am Mastery Academy horror story. This should be interesting. I don't get many of these. So this one says, "Hey Deanna, I recently found your MLM videos and I really enjoy them. What attracted me to your channel was your personal MLM experience, and I'm appreciative that you decided to share that with us. I'd like to be anonymous in this story. I had no idea what an MLM or pyramid scheme was, but there was a small YouTuber who I followed for a while that would continuously post about making money on her phone. I didn't pay much attention at first, but she posted so much that I think it subconsciously put the idea in my head. Let me know who this YouTuber is and if they're still doing it. I'd love to know." Around December time, a few years ago, I remember looking at my bank account and thinking about how much I was really struggling. I didn't even know if I could pay my full rent in the new year. I made a spur of the moment, dumb decision to DM that YouTuber and do whatever she was doing that seemed to be working out so well for her. I didn't know anything about I Am Mastery Academy, but the way she explained everything to me seemed so simple, so I joined right then and there. I guess we could say that I was very naive at the time because I definitely spent way more money than I was initially told. As time went on, if you weren't making money, they'd find ways to blame you in any way they could find. If they couldn't blame you, they'd say that you just needed to fund your account more because the return would be better. I started to feel so ashamed that I wasn't making money that I stopped saying anything because they'd say it was your fault, that you didn't plug in enough, or you didn't take it seriously, or you didn't do it properly. Everything you mentioned in your videos is so true. Like the time freedom I was initially told I'd have was non-existent. Sharing the business opportunity wasn't about helping others. It was about building your own rank at the end of the day, etc. Community they built in the team I had joined was something that kept me around despite the red flags. I was a very lonely student who didn't have much time to go out and socialize because I was working 2 jobs and had more than a full course load. So meeting all these people who were so nice and interactive with each other really roped me in. They called it a family, which as someone with a lot of childhood family trauma, it kind of filled a void for me. I didn't have the emotional awareness in the situation to realize how much I was being manipulated. When I started watching your videos, I realized how insane the whole experience really was because the language and the culture they build in MLMs are literally the same. I was shocked to see Zoom calls from other MLMs because I swear I feel like once you've been in one, it's like you've been in all of them. They say the same things. Exactly. This is what I've been saying for so long. It's like no matter what MLM you are in, they say the same things. They use the same tactics. They nearly have the same products in most MLMs, but they try and make it seem like they don't. Most MLMs show the same stuff, do the same things that everyone who has been in an MLM can look at any MLM and be like, yep, I can see the manipulation, because you can see the same tactics that you were taught to use or that were used on you in every single MLM. So that's why when people say, oh, my MLM is different, nobody believes that. And everybody knows that that's not real because every MLM uses the same tactics and has the same issues, which is why it's a business structure problem and an industry problem. Let's continue. She said, anyway, I lost a lot of money and I stayed around for about a year before I finally had the courage to leave. I was very conscious of how much money I was losing, but I kept trying because every time I had the inkling of leaving, they'd rope me back in by talking about how much of a family we were or how you have to give it time to be successful, etc. I even felt bad for leaving at first. What propelled me to finally leave was that I started to see through the love bombing and I realized how much the ranking system had failed people feeling like they had some kind of power over others within that MLM. I realized that I hated the environment and I never wanted to post on social media or recruit anyone. It was never about helping others. I also felt really ashamed that I was even part of something like this, and I can't believe I let myself get tricked. When anybody from the team would text me after I had left, I always doubted whether they really wanted to talk to me because we had cultivated friendships, or they were just trying their MLM techniques on me because I knew all of the tricks at that point. After leaving, I've been learning a lot about MLMs through channels like yours, and I'm slowly dealing with not feeling guilty about being in one. I'm not sure if you feel like this sometimes yourself. I was convinced that this was the way I'd become successful, and when it wasn't working out, I'd convinced myself that I needed to stick around for the family. I can now admit how culty it really was. I'm just glad today that I found the courage to leave, and things are much better in my life now. Thank you for reading my story. So I can definitely relate to the feelings of guilt. I feel like when you're joining an MLM, you're joining it from a position of wanting more, and you're sold this dream and you're sold this inkling of hope when it comes to the way they pull on your vulnerabilities. And I definitely, leaving an MLM, looked back and felt extremely guilty and shameful for the actions I had taken. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way. That's why I read these stories, because people in the comments or people who send me their stories are telling me they're feeling that way. And I know that I did. And I know that so many other people have felt that way, because when you're in the MLM, you don't really realize that the things that are happening are wrong. You don't realize the tactics that they're teaching you to use are wrong, and the way that you were roped in was wrong, until you kind of get out of that mindset and get out of that group think that MLMs have. And you really take a step back and look inward. And until you do that, it's really, really, really difficult to see that the things you are doing are wrong. So I can definitely understand those feelings of guilt. And I feel like a lot of people in MLMs can. Let me know if you have been in an MLM when you left. Did you have those feelings? And how long did it take you to kind of get over that and to work through that? And I do think it is a period of, or it takes a period of time coming out of an MLM to really come to terms with those things and to come to terms with those feelings and to look back and be like, yep, those things were wrong, and I understand that now. And then you're able to move forward after you can really, process all the things that you were once taught to do, and now realizing that those things were wrong. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm so glad that you got out of the MLM. So this is going to be the last MLM horror stories for today. So this says, "Hi Deanna, I hope you're having a wonderful day. English is not my first language, and I am sorry for the mistakes. I won't add specific details about my job and field of work since I want to stay as anonymous as possible. I don't have a horror story, but I wanted to add on another aspect to story number 1 from MLM and Scam Stories number 89. So I'm going to link down below my MLM Horror Stories and Scam Stories series number 89 down below. This person is going to be adding onto that. They go, quick story about MLMs and me. I fell into the YouTube anti-MLM rabbit hole this summer while being stuck at home due to a work injury. I live in Canada, and in the province where I grew up, MLMs are not really a thing. I knew that Tupperware had parties, but I always figured they were just normal sales reps that wanted to show how the products work, like as seen on TV, ad presentation, but in person. I've never attended a party, but a friend told me that the vegetable saver containers were the best invention since sliced bread, and living alone, it was a struggle to keep vegetables from spoiling because the portions at the grocery store are made for large families. I ordered the containers directly from the Tupperware website, so I don't feel bad about it. I've had them for 7 years, way before I got educated on the subject. But I have to agree with my friend, they are the best invention since sliced bread. If I ever need to replace the ones I have, I'll definitely buy from a non-MLM brand. My partner and I moved across the country at the end of the year to a more conservative part of the country that is part of Canada's Bible Belt. Since our move, I have seen a Mary Kay pink Cadillac, a Pure Romance branded car. Pure Romance, that's the sex toy MLM. I wonder what their branded car looked like. Let's continue. A Herbalife health shop, and I just found out that the owner of the yoga studio that I attended is in Arbonne. I've just received an email promoting a 30-day supply nutrition pack for a ridiculously discounted price of $199 instead of $275. I've unsubscribed to the email list, but since I like the proximity and the classes of this studio, I'll continue to go. But if I get an opportunity message, I'll run as fast as I can in the opposite direction. I find it fascinating how religion and MLMs are connected. Adding to story number 1 from MLM and Scam Stories number 89. Since high school, I knew that a typical 9-to-5 job would not be my first choice of work. I always had the feeling that the weeks were too fast and the weekends were just a time to wait and prepare for the next week to start. I was extremely lucky to find a fully paid unpaid university program that led me to a job with a fly-in, fly-out schedule. Basically, you travel to work, stay at the workplace for X amount of time, and travel back home for X amount of time off. For me, it's the same amount of days that we work. The perks of this job: a stable government job that I love, a good pension plan, and since my partner's in the military, I have priority when it comes to job transfers within the government. But most importantly, not working a 9 to 5. And even more importantly, when I'm not working, I usually don't talk or think about my job and can focus on my hobbies. The downsides of this schedule is that some years we are not home for Christmas. One of my coworkers was not able to attend a friend's wedding this summer, and for the ones that have kids, they are not going to be with them for X period of time. But when I am home, I'm 100% present. I can enjoy my time. I really don't care about missing Christmas one year if I can travel with my partner in the off season. Skiing in February is wonderful, less people and cheaper prices. One of my colleagues has 2 kids, and when he is home, he picks up his kids at daycare after lunch so he can spend quality time with them while still taking time for himself in the morning. I have financial freedom without having group calls at supper time and annual unpaid conventions. But you know the best part? My identity is my own. If you talk to me, I'm just me, not a rank title. Thanks for the entertaining and educational videos, and have a nice day. Oh, I loved that one. It was like an update to see like what happened to her now, what she's doing now. I loved that. I'm so happy for you. And that really goes to show that there are so many avenues you can take in life. You don't have to have a typical corporate job like MLM reps say. You don't have to have a typical 9 to 5 or 8 to 4. Like if you don't want to work that, you have options and you can do different things. You can start your own business. You can work specific hours. You can do travel jobs. You can do so many different things in the world now that I think are amazing. And I'm so glad that there are those opportunities now. So thank you so much for sending me that story. So with that being said, happy Friday the 13th. Let me know, are you a Friday the 13th fan? Are you a horror film fan? If you are, what's your favorite horror film? And who's your favorite person? Like Jason, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers? I'm curious. I want to know. I'm a huge fan, so I'm going to be reading them comments So with that being said, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in next week's videos. Even if it wasn't in a big words, y'all. You know me and big words. They just don't work out. Let's try this again. Exorbitant. I can do it. The representative, exorbitant, antagonistic is a word coming up. I can say that. When I go to read them, I struggle. And I am sorry. You know what? Go back. Restart. Rewind. Title. Thanks for the entertaining and educational